Europe is bracing for a potential second Trump presidency. The EU has set up a task force to game out scenarios such as a cut-off of American aid to Ukraine or, for example, a sharp increase in tariffs. These issues are top of the mind for the ministers who've been on Quest Means Business over the course of the week. Have a listen.
Irrespective of the result of the elections, we can maintain the strategic alliance and these very close ties with respect to the US. Of course, going forward, the EU has to find its own way towards this economic security agenda, but we hope that it's going to be hand in hand with the US, of course.
We cannot ignore the threat from Russia. We have to invest in modernization of our army, and this is what we are doing in Poland, and this is what we are trying to convince our friends in Western European countries just to spend more on defense.
Paschal Donohoe is the president of the Eurogroup. You of course, are familiar with the body of finance ministers from EU countries that use the euro. He's with me now in Washington. Good to see you as always, Paschal. Now, look, as we look at this, these preparations, President Lagarde of the ECB warned about this 2 years ago when she said, Europe, never mind who election the US votes for, the US will do what the US will do, but Europe needs to be prepared in all eventualities.
And that work is underway. Overall, this is a relationship that continues, I believe, to be of great value both to the US and to Europe. It's worth around 1.5 trillion euro. It's over 40% of global GDP. A relationship like that offers and does deliver benefit to both sides of the Atlantic. We want to be in a position that we can engage in constructive, friendly relations with the US as we have throughout our history. Right. But also make the case for the value of that relationship and make the case for America having partners, having friends and having allies in a world, Richard, that you well know that is increasingly volatile and full of challenges to us both.
But I also know that behind the scenes, and I'm not suggesting you in any shape or form, but behind the scenes, people are saying, if Donald Trump gets elected, get your battle weapons out, get your tin helmet out. The tariffs will be coming for Europe. Whether we like it or not, we are going to get more of the same. We better be prepared. How can you prepare for that?
So there's three things that we can do. Phase number one is to make the case for the economic value of the relationship to the US and to Europe, for the jobs, for the income, for the profit that it creates for both of us. Number two, after we've gone through that phase, is engage in negotiation constructively on the issues that matter to the US and therefore will matter to Europe. And thirdly then, if we find ourselves in a situation where that doesn't work, of course we'll be prepared and look at what action we may need to take reactively. But that's the last place we want to be. This is a relationship between both sides of the Atlantic of enormous economic benefit that's based in shared values and a shared approach to the world. But of course, we have to be prepared for what the future could bring.
You see, the difference this time is you know what's highly likely. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but 8 years ago, you hoped for the best. Europe wasn't really prepared for the worst. Now you've got no excuse. You know if Donald Trump gets elected, what's coming your way.
Of course, and I can listen, and we're all listening very attentively to the kind of commitments that have been made in the campaign trail as well. And that is why I said that if the American people do decide to elect President Trump, we will then make the argument, engage in negotiation, but then look at what steps we may reactively need to take. And that thinking, of course, has to be developed given what the first presidency of Donald Trump did look like and the additional commitments that he's now making.
We had two ministers. We had the Spanish minister and we had the Polish minister on the programme this week. Two very strong, growing countries within the EU and the Eurogroup. But we also have had the IMF warning and others that the numbers show Europe is falling behind on competitiveness, on regulation. It's too bureaucratic remaining. This is a concern of yours. I know you and I have spoken about it on several occasions. How can you speed up the increased competitiveness?
So the first thing we have to do is make the case for what we've already achieved. When I've been on your programme, Richard, at other points in recent years, there were so many forecasts for Europe moving into a prolonged recession due to the impact of the war in Ukraine and due to the impact that COVID and inflation had in the euro in particular. And we've avoided all those worst case scenarios, and we've managed to deliver economic stability, get inflation down, and have a record number of people at work. But at the same time, we need to be realistic. If we look at the change that is happening across the world, we can see other parts of the world growing quicker. We're aware of that, what it means for us. How do we deal with that? I'd highlight two particular phases. Number one, we do have to have a credible budget framework, because the foundation of how we can grow more quickly in the future is stable and safe public finances. And then secondly, we have to reignite a number of projects that we've been making gradual progress on in the time ahead. And of course, that refers to how we can deepen our single market. It refers to how we can use the budget of the European Union to deepen the competitiveness of Europe overall. Right. And of course, it refers to our financial sector and further steps that we really do have to take there across 2025.
And we'll talk more about that in the weeks and months and years ahead. I suppose you look younger every time. I don't know what you're doing. It's obviously good living.
It's
good,
all the makeup
living.
You've applied to me here, Richard, in Washington, has made the difference. I should really say the same about you, but you bet me to it.
Thank you very much. Oh, listen, I'm shameless of all the makeup. Shameless here, I tell you. Thank you very much. Good to see you. Have a safe journey back to Europe, sir. Safe journey home.
Thank you.
Thank you.